All right, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Kitchen Sink, the download on food, Google's Teaching Kitchen. My name is Andrew and I'm the cafe manager here at the Kitchen Sink Cafe, and it is my honor today to present a very special guest. She is the chef and owner of several fantastic restaurants, including the Michelin star rated the Breslin in New York City, the Michelin star rated the Spotted Pig in New York City as well as in San Francisco of Tosca. Okay, she's a two-time author. Her brand new book is on shelves right now, A Girl and Her Greens. She's the James Beard Award winner for 2014 for Best Chef in New York City. And you may have seen her on such television shows as PBS is a Mind of a Chef and Iron Chef America. Please, everybody, join me in welcoming Chef April Bloomfield.
I appreciate you taking your lunch break to come watch me cook. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to the team, Google team over here, doing your little tasters today. So thank you guys for helping organize everything today. So big hand for those. Okay, so as you know, I've come out with a brand new book. It's called A Girl and Her Greens. I basically wanted to show a different side of myself from my last book. I want to kind of show my love of vegetables. I love vegetables. I grew up eating them when I was a little girl. I was eating peas, carrots, things like parsnips, lots of potatoes, broccoli. I loved everything about broccoli. All those kind of brassicas I really enjoyed. And I wanted to kind of show this off in my book, A Girl and Her Greens. So I'm going to make you two recipes from the book. I've got one that I'm about to show you. It's basically a smashed pea. It's the best thing you're ever going to eat in your whole life. But then you're going to eat the carrots, and they're pretty good too. So basically, just a thing about peas when you go buy them at the market, try and find peas that are not overstuffed in their shell. So I'm going to pass you a couple around. You can feel that these ones, the bigger ones, are bursting their edges a little bit. So I'm just going to open them up, and you can see how they get square. Once they start to get square, they get really starchy. So you're looking for things or peas that don't have as much, I don't know if you guys can see that, they don't have as much pea to them. See how these ones are all shoved in there? They get a bit starchy. These are going to be nice and sweet. So I'm going to pass them around so you can just have a little look.
Sure.
So, try and find peas that are just a good size. And this is basically an uncooked mushy pea. Everybody know what a mushy pea is? Anybody been to England? Yeah. Have you had fish and chips with mushy peas? They're basically like long cooked peas that are stewed for, I don't know, well, it depends who's cooking them. Could be really bad, but they're really stewed from anywhere for like an hour to 25 minutes. So in here, I've got some peas. It's not many, it's probably like a pound, a little bit of mint and some garlic. We're basically making a pesto, okay? And a pesto just means paste. So I'm gonna add some salt. This will help flavor the peas. It'll bring out some sweetness. I've got some garlic, mint, salt, and I'm just going to give it a little whiz. You can do it on pulse, and you can either do this really, really smooth, or you can do it a little mixture of both, smooth and chunky. It just depends on personal preference. I'm going to make mine nice and smooth. Just give it a little whiz like this. You smell that mint? I can smell that mint already. It smells really springy. This is the best thing, after being, kind of holed up, well, maybe not in California, holed up in the winter in New York City, and there's not a green thing around. Like having these kind of poke up through the ground and seeing them at the market, I don't know, I get really excited about that kind of stuff, So first thing in spring, this is the best thing to make. In here, I just put some pecorino. It's a little aged pecorino, so it has a little complexity to it. And it's a little bit funky, so it really just adds something to the pea. It really kind of just elevates the whole dish. It looks good. I think I'm going to go with some olive oil too. Do you guys see this? Can you guys see this? Yeah. Okay, good.
Cool.
Okay, so then, actually, I'm just going to, you can put the olive oil in, or you could just use the bowl, but I'm just going to use the bowl now. I got it off. I might not be able to get it back on, so. They're a bit temperamental, these things, You could do this in a pestle and mortar, actually. It's quite fun. Anybody got a pestle and mortar at home? Yeah, just do them in small batches so your peas don't just fly all over the place and you're like trying to catch them, you know. A little bit of olive oil. It's a lot of olive oil. It's still healthier than butter, I mean. So just give that a really good mix and it'll just go a wee bit creamy. And then now you've got all that fat, you know, you've got a little bit of the cheese in there. It's not too much. It's not overpowering the peas at all. You've got some of the olive oil again, which is slightly more fatty. You know, you got that sweet peas, so everything's going to be quite heavy right now. So the way we kind of balance that out is just a little bit of olive oil. So we're just going to add a little bit and we're just going to taste it.
Are you separately seasoning or are you just using the salt and the pepper right now?
No, I added a little bit of salt in with my bowl. Somebody wasn't paying attention. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding. Too many nights at Tosca, that's what it is. Yeah. Right, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to give a taste. You know, it's always good to taste. So let's just... It's good. It's got some mint in there, so it's not too much. It's not overtaking the pea. It's got a little lemon, so it's really bright at the beginning, but then you get this kind of like nice salty, earthy, kind of clean pea flavor. And you can see how creamy it's gone, you know, and it's spreadable. It's a nice paste. So my next job is to do some bruschetta, which is basically just a toasted bread, usually rubbed with a little bit of garlic and then finished with some salt and some olive oil. This is a nice San Francisco sourdough. You guys make the best bread, San Francisco. So you're very lucky. So just kind of give it a good old cut. Get a nice little piece for yourself like this, and then you can just pop it on the grill. And actually, you know, you can take this quite far. I kind of like that kind of bitterness that you get from a little bit of the charred bread, you know. I think it complements the sweetness from the pea really well. You know, for breakfast, if I'm doing a bit of toast and jam, you know, I kind of like to get a bit more burnt edges on it because it complements that kind of sweetness too. With lots of butter, of course. You've got to have your butter. So just kind of keep that on there until it gets all nice and toasty. And you want to take it quite crunchy. If you don't, it's just going to kind of drip off, and then it's going to be in your lap, and everybody's going to think you're a lazy eater and you have no manners. So yeah, just kind of toast that. Let it sit, you know, sometimes it's good to let things just chill for a second, you know, not 20 minutes, but just, and then we'll have another little taste. So you taste at the beginning, middle, and the end. Do you guys all see those peas? Did anybody get to taste? Did you taste one? You should taste them too. You know, sometimes they come with their shells are a little bit more rough looking. Some are like nice and green. It doesn't mean that the peas are any worse inside if they're a little bit kind of brown, you know, like this. So just, you know, and taste. Or when you go to the market, San Francisco is amazing for this, but always make sure you taste stuff, you know, and ask. Sometimes you get told off if you just help yourself. But a lot, you know, I've been told off many times. Terrible. But, you know, always taste, always ask to taste. San Francisco is really amazing because they actually, you know, they cut stuff for you. They kind of put it out. You get your little toothpick and taste. So that's kind of fun. And, you know, give things a little smell, just touch things, have a little look, see where they're at, because that's the only way you're going to get more experienced on picking your vegetables. It's just like buying a bit of fish. You know, when you go to a market and you go to a fish market, you know, you want clear eyes, red gills, you want it to look nice and firm. A little bit of slime around the fish is important. Usually means that it's freshly caught, hasn't been out of the water very long. Anything that's flat looking, tired, you know, it's basically like picking a handsome man, really, you know. It's gotta look pretty sexy, right? So, or a woman, you know. Anyway, so this toast is pretty much done. You see how I got these kind of nice dark charred bits on there? That's really gonna just elevate this dish. Oh, I need a plate. Thank you. Give it a nice rub of garlic. Even though there's a little bit of garlic in here, it's kind of nice to just layer those flavors. Thank you. Oh, and a bit of arugula, please, too. Thank you. So it's nice to layer those flavors. So this is quite bulky and thick, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more salt. You know, again, getting all those flavors layered in is really important. And then I'm going to do a really good big lashing of olive oil on the bread, because again, it's quite bulky. You know, you don't want this dry piece of bread, you know. Thank you. Great, thanks. And then you just get a good, healthy scoop of the pea. Pop it on the plate like this. And then just start at the round end. I'm going to go more because I like peas. And just give it a good old smash down on there. If some falls on the plate, it's kind of cool. It looks like a little bit of a garnish, doesn't it? So that's our little secret, just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to just garnish this. You can go extra mint. You know what would be really great on here is some pea shoots, you know, or like little pea flowers. I'm using arugula. It should be nice and spicy. If you're using pea shoots, they're normally quite nice and sweet. And just lightly drizzle some olive oil. I did salt, yes, did a little bit of salt and a little bit of olive oil on top. And when you dress your salads, don't, you know, if they're delicate, don't go in there like a bull in a china shop, you know. You kind of want to just gently dress. So the way I do it is I either use these little 2 fingers, a little claw, and I just kind of like gently toss like this, or I use actually the bowl. I just gather my fingers up like this, and I gently push the salad against the bowl, and I let it drop. And so I kind of do this movement. And it's usually good for doing salads so you don't get bruised leaves. You know, and just arrange it nice and fancy, because then everybody thinks you're going to be, you know, sophisticated and smart. And then just a little bit of olive oil. That's really easy, right? All you have to do is pod the peas. And I made that in like, I think 5 minutes, but it was probably 10 minutes, but there you go. So that's that first dish. Do you guys like that? Yeah?
That looks great.
How many people would make that at home? I mean, it's so easy, right? So if you don't want to just have it on bread, you know what's great is if you boil a bit of pasta, you put some cream in, maybe a little garlic, and then just toss this through. A little bit of Parmesan or pecorino. You can use the pecorino. If you don't have Parmesan, by the way, I forgot to say that. And then just toss some pasta all the way through. You know, if you don't have mint, you can use basil. All those things that you can substitute that go really well, feel free to use them. Okay, next dish is another favorite of mine. It's basically roasted carrots with burrata. And roasting is sometimes quite scary for people, right? Who likes roasting carrots and veggies? And oh, you're all pretty good then. Nice. It was just me then. Oh well. So I like to get my color. The reason why I think people are very fearful of cooking veggies or not successful is that sometimes they cut them too small. So by the end of it, they're all like shriveled up and there's no substance to them. And then other times they roast them, they don't have any color because they're too small, because then they're going to overcook and they're going to burn. So keeping your vegetables a little bit more chunky allows you to be able to get some more sweetness and caramelization from the carrots or the veg without overcooking. So I like to just start them very gently in a pan. You know, just kind of layer them up like this, top and tail, you know, so you can fit a few more in. I think, you know, you can throw some on the top and stir them around again too, you know, if you want. And then just just kind of let them go on a medium to high heat, depending on what kind of veggies they are. And then get a nice little color on them. So while they're browning like this, I'm going to start my pesto. I'm just smash mad today. I'm going pesto crazy. So I'm going to make another little pesto. And I'm going to use the carrot tops. How many of you knew that you could eat carrot tops? I only learned that like a couple of years ago, so you're very, very smart for knowing that. Okay, so carrot tops, they're exactly what they are, they're tops of the carrots. So, these are nice, they're all structured, there's no blemishes on them at all. And you could just basically take off the tops like this. You don't want to go too far down, sometimes they get a little tougher towards the end. And then just kind of pick them off like this, leaving the stalk on. This one, leaving this is tender here, so leaving this stalk on right there is good. And just, same kind of process, just pop them all in. Did I drop a carrot? Oops. Oh, my poor little carrots, I dropped on the floor. Okay. Well, I'm going to say, look how nice that one looks. Look at that. Looks like a Christmas tree. I'm going to save that for my garnish, I think. Maybe this one too. Just kind of pick them all off, pop them in. I have some more here that I did earlier. So just do a nice little handful. This. These are nice. They taste like carrots. They're a little earthy again. So these earthy carrot tops go nice with the walnuts. So we're just going to throw some walnuts in there. You can use almonds. You could use pine nuts. I don't really like to toast. I love to taste. I don't like to toast. The reason why I don't toast is because I think it makes for a cleaner pesto. Sometimes when you toast the nuts, they get a little bit dirty, and they can be a bit too overpowering. So not toasting the nuts is a nice trick to kind of keeping your food fresh. A little bit of salt. I went plenty of garlic. I like quite a lot of garlic in my pesto. Basil. If you didn't have basil, you could use tarragon or chervil. It's really cool. Chervil's like an underrated herb, so some of that would be great. Okay, so just give it a good old whiz. Again, you can have it chunky or as smooth as you want. Smells good. And then I'm going to go with some olive oil. And you can do it runny. Again, like this in some pasta would be great. I'm going to get it a little smoother. I can't get it off. Oh well. I need a bowl. Do you guys ever have this trouble when you do your work where you're like, I don't know, like something's not coming up? I don't know. I don't know what the equivalent of that would be, but I would be very fascinated to know. Oh, great. Good job. The laptop what? Your laptop. Oh, yeah, that would be awful, wouldn't it? Oh, my goodness. That's just worse than this. Oh, no, what a nightmare. Oh, is there somebody you can call when you're like, oh, my gosh, what a nightmare. Oh, dear. So you can see this is really, really nice and creamy. And it's really just going to brighten up your dish nicely, So I'm going to give it a little taste. I might just let it down. It's good. Just so I can drizzle it. And it's really not going to affect the flavor that much. It's just merely to, are you guys laughing at the olive oil? Wow, olive oil tastes good. I know, I go through bottles and bottles of olive oil. But, that's why, if you want to do this, you got to kind of buy some of those things if you can, like just an olive oil that you really like. And yeah, I actually usually buy like a Chilean olive oil that's organic, actually. I have a really good relationship with them. It's called Olive. Actually, they just changed their name from Alave to Olive. And it's really good, and it's actually not that expensive. You can buy it from Whole Foods. If you guys ever shop there, it's definitely a, delicious one to buy. And we buy Tuscan olive oils, which are great because they're nice and spicy and delicious. So I've just given them a little season. Just, check them, see if they're getting any color. You might not want to use your fingers like this. You might want to, use a spoon or something. Okay, so I'm just going to let this chill. Looks pretty good, right? Yummy. Okay, so I've got some carrots that I did. So just so you can see, because it's going to take a long time for them to brown. But you can see how delicious and they've got really concentrated. You guys see that? Mm-hmm. They've got a nice little bit of color, and they're not too greasy. She's too busy texting. Anyway, and I've got some yellow ones. You can see the color on these, which are really nice. So actually, I wanted to pass them around so you could actually see, how nicely cooked they are. So if you want to just have a little poke, you can have a nib or two if you'd like. Yeah, a little bit of thyme. So once they brown a little bit, I'm going to just kind of throw them in the oven with a little bit of thyme and a little bit of garlic. And that'll just very gently and delicately flavor your carrots. No, I didn't peel the skin. And that's the best thing, right? When you get carrots that are not too large or beets that are not too big, you don't have to peel them. You can just throw them in the oven, cook them with their skin on, and saving yourself some work is, when you've been working late is really amazing. And it's just, it's edible, right? Like, why not? Saves you some time, it's less waste, it's better for the environment, it's going all in your, your tummy, and you're satisfied and happy. Okay, so I'm going to construct this salad, but I need another plate. Sorry.
So what's the equivalent in the vegetable world of the nose to snout? I'm sorry, nose to tail, snout to tail, however you call it.
That would be a funny-looking pig, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even think about it, actually. Weird. But, yeah, this would be it. This cooking nose to tail, this would be top to bottom or top to tail. You could do it with beets, at the Spotted Pig, and even at Tosca, we have an amazing dish. You probably know that, with the beets, with the tarragon pesto. And we use the beet greens, and we just lightly char them on a grill. So you get everything, we use the stalks, the leaves. Mm-hmm. We even leave the nice little tail on the end of the beet, so you get like this kind of crunchy texture. Really amazing. So yeah, this, using broccoli stalks. Do you guys eat broccoli stalks? Yeah, just like using those up, not throwing them away, just maybe peeling the outer part of the broccoli, because sometimes that's the toughest. Mm-hmm. So it's basically knowing when to use something and when not to. If something's tough, peel it back, because if it's tough, then you're not going to enjoy it. But if it's tender and sweet and beautiful, feel free to use it. Okay, so when these come out of the oven, you just want to, again, you've just concentrated all that sweetness. You can see the theme. The carrots are nice. They should be a little bit salty, a little bit sweet, a little bit herbaceous from the earthy rosemary, and a little bit of the garlic from the roasted garlic that you put in. And really just kind of tap each carrot with just a touch of lemon. Because again, the sweetness you've concentrated, you've got some nice color, you've got all that kind of like flavor rocking and working. And really take your time to do this, because you don't want to miss one, because then somebody might get the one that's not dressed, and then they're not having the same experience as you. So being nice and balanced is really important. And thinking about the other person too. Again, just fresh olive oil. She's still on her phone. She's gonna leave. She's gonna, what happened? So just give it a little light toss in the remaining the olive oil, and just arrange it. Look how cute. You see these like little crispy bits? Mm-hmm. There's no point chopping those off, I don't like it when you go to a place and it doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like. I love keeping things very organic. And, you know, if it's a carrot, like, make it look like a carrot, you know, instead of making these like little squares. I love rustic but delicious food. Okay, so I've got that there. And I've got some burrata, which is from Italy. It's basically a mozzarella. So they make like a mozzarella sack and they shove it full of sometimes like cream or creme fraiche and this thing called stracciatella, which is just shreds of mozzarella. So it basically, it's got this nice little coat. You guys can see it here. Nice little skin of mozzarella on the outside and then this lovely oozy, gooey, cheesy goodness inside. So I get really excited about that kind of stuff. You know, it's what makes my day. So, you know, you just kind of pick this up. It doesn't matter if some oozes out. Just kind of arrange it nicely on the plate like that, you know. And you get this contrast between this lovely white cream and then these beautiful golden carrots. Let's take a look at these, by the way. They're getting there. And you can speed this process up. I'm a little scared of this induction, just so you know.
I see you don't like to use a lot of utensils in your cooking.
Yeah. Yes, no.
Only when it comes to the hot stuff, you don't really like to use utensils.
I know. See, I'm using a spoon to plate, so yeah. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like an egg, doesn't it? All right, so I'm going to save some of these, right, like I did, just to put on top as a garnish. You can put some fresh basil in there too, make it nice. Or tarragon, whatever you're using, chervil again, you know. Just a little bit more oil and lemon. I always do lemon first. I think it just helps the oil not get too greasy on the leaf, and so it doesn't make it as heavy. But you could pre-mix. In My Girl and Her Pig, there's a recipe for lemon oil, and it's 1 to 2, so 1 lemon to 2 oil, which is nice. Just give it a little taste, a little bit of a season. You could pre-mix that and then just dress it with that. Some of this lovely pesto. Just kind of pop some of that on top. Don't be shy. Maybe another couple of carrots. A little bit of this on top. You know, these are nice, you know, they've got lots of structure, so you can just kind of daintily put them on. You know, they don't all have to be up the right way. There could be one that's like upside down, gives it a nice little curve. You see that there? Nice little curve here. You know, put one here, maybe upside down, and then just finish it with more olive oil. And that's basically the burrata with the carrots. So now I'm going to show you these carrots. Hopefully I haven't burned them. So this is good. We can just throw them in the oven now. Just give them a little shake. See the color you got on there? So now you can just do these in a medium oven. And then you don't have to worry about getting the color because you've already done it. So all you got to do is just pay attention to how they're cooked. And whether they're crunchy or soft is dependent on you and what you like, really. A bit more. Okay, and then just throw them in the oven. And these will take about 10 minutes to cook. And again, you can get the color a little bit more faster if you'd like. And use a heavy bottom pan. You know, use a pan that's thick on the bottom, not like a thin pan, because this will help all the sugars, whatever you're cooking, whether it's searing meat or cooking vegetables, it will bring the sugars out at a slower rate than if you use a thin pan, and it's more even. So good pans, really important to get great food. That's it. That's my little 2 dishes here. You know, the smashed peas with the arugula and the burrata with the carrot top pesto. Thanks for coming, guys. I hope you're going to get to eat your little nibbles, and we're going to do a Q&A.
All right. Anybody have any questions?
What restaurants will you visit in San Francisco besides Tosca?
That's a good question. I'm only here on a fleeting visit because I have to go on to LA, but yeah, I'll probably just spend my time at Tosca, which is the best thing. I love Tosca, and you know, I need to be in my restaurant, so yeah.
Right over here.
When you were growing up, did you always like vegetables? And also, sorry, two parts. And then also, what were your biggest influences with like vegetables growing up as well?
Okay, so yeah, I loved veggies growing up. My nan actually was the best cook in the family, and we always used to go around to have big roast dinner, you know, big roast lunch. And she was amazing. She would get all her mise en place in little pots on the stove. Like, she'd have a peeled potatoes covered in water. You know, she'd have like a parsnips, you know, in a pan ready to go in the oven. And that was very inspiring, you know. She was very organized. But yeah, I loved roasted carrots. I love carrots. I mean, I love potatoes. I think I must have some Irish in me somewhere. I'm slightly obsessed about potatoes. But peas, I love peas. You know, parsnips. Parsnips were a little bit more difficult, but I did enjoy, I did eat them, just because they were a bit more floral. But I worked in a restaurant called the River Café, where I really kind of got to experience things like parsnips and celeriac and fennel that a lot of people don't like, because I think they struggle with that kind of floral aromatic flavor that they have. And I don't know, it really just opened my eyes, and I fell in love with that type of vegetable at that restaurant. And so I think you can kind of see that come through in the book. Yeah. I reference the River Cafe quite a lot. It's a great restaurant. It's amazing. I'd still be there now, I think, probably. Yeah.
What's next? You have 5 amazing restaurants, a couple of great books. What's coming up?
What's next? That's a good question. I'm actually working on a burger concept right now. That's all going to be wood grilled. Just really great ale, wood grilled burger with locally sourced beef, which we'll grind in-house ourselves. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. So April's going to be, there are books for sale in the back.
Yeah.
And so please feel free to buy a book, and she'll be signing books right up here.
Yeah,
okay?
definitely.
Cool. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, guys. Cheers.